Good morning, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 lessons that I've learned in my 20s. By the time you guys are watching this, it is my birthday. So I wanted to take you guys along with me. I'm going for a walk around the lake, but I wanted to share with you guys those lessons that I've learned. So here we go. Alright, I have arrived to the lake and I'm sitting on a bench here, and I want to talk to you guys about the first lesson, and that is that other people's opinion of me is none of my business. So what that means is people are entitled to their own opinions, and it doesn't matter what you say or what you do. It's literally impossible to try to please everyone because everyone comes from such different backgrounds. If you think about yourself, I think about myself, and I have very different opinions than my partner or my siblings even. Especially with my siblings, we grew up in the same household, but we're so different. And so when we start caring about other people's opinion of us, it really makes us lose a sense of who we are. And so that just leads to a life that is not fulfilling and not true to who you really are. So that is why that is one of my top lessons that I've learned. And trust me, I'm still working on it. I think it's only human that we care about other people's opinion of us, but I think it's important for us to still work towards that goal of just seeing other people's opinions as their opinion. And as long as you have strong self-belief, self-confidence, self-love, their opinions don't define who you are, and therefore you won't feel threatened or feel the need to correct or change the way they think about you. So that is lesson number 1. Other people's opinion is none of your business. Alright, we are now in location number 2 for the second lesson, which is we are human beings and not human doings. So I believe now that life is about who you are being. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Take for example, if you are really bitter all the time, and that's how you live your life, you're a bitter person, then it doesn't matter what job you do, what projects you finish, you're still functioning from that being, that type of being. So I now find that life is more about who I'm being now, and I take that with me wherever I go, to whatever I do. Now I care much more about how I'm being, how I show up in life, and not so much what I get done and what I don't get done. And don't get me wrong, I do still struggle with this because it's only been not even a year since I've gone on my self-love, self-healing, self-discovery journey. And so I've got a long ways to go, but if I were to tell you guys who are in your 20s, is that start cultivating who you want to be like, how you want to show up in life. And some of the ways that can help with this is just asking yourself questions. At the end of the day, just look back and say, hey, like, how are you acting? Like, how did you treat your coworkers? How did you treat your family, your friends? And were you kind? Were you generous? Just do little assessments that could really show you how you are being and how you're showing up in your life. And if it's difficult for you to have that self-awareness, it's always safe to confide in someone that you trust. Ask them to give you some feedback on how you are acting and how you're being, how you're showing up, and they should be able to tell you, and you can take that and see how you want to behave moving forward. But I really do believe that it's important for us to remember that we are human beings and not human doings. So the third lesson that I want to talk to you guys about is really asking you guys the question of what is self-love really? Because for me, honestly, I thought in my 20s, I thought that I had lots of self-love for myself. Whenever I read articles or watched YouTube videos on self-love, self-care, I honestly thought I had a lot of self-love. And It wasn't until this past year that I realized, wow, I have no self-love, because I didn't know what it was. I wanted to talk about this because I believe at the core of all our problems and the world's problem is that we lack self-love. Self-love is being aware and then fully accepting who you are, how you are, through your flaws, through your mistakes, everything. And knowing that regardless of all those flaws and mistakes that you have, that you are still lovable and enough and worthy. And that's really where self-love starts. And then self-love also means that you have boundaries and you are not people-pleasing all the time, and you know your needs and you value them. When you know and value your boundaries, you're able to cultivate a really healthy relationship with yourself. When you have self-love, you're not looking for external validation from other people, because inside your heart is full of love and acceptance for yourself. I like to use the analogy of a full cup. When you have boundaries and when you love and accept yourself and you do things to nourish yourself, you are filling your own cup, and from that cup, when you're filling it, it overflows, and that is where you're supposed to be giving to other people, from your overflow, not from your cup, not from an empty cup, but from your overflow. So as someone who has gone through this self-love journey, and honestly, at the beginning, it was very hard for me to admit. I was kind of ashamed to admit that I didn't have self-love for myself. But now that I've gone through it and I have cultivated a lot more self-love for myself, and it is definitely still a daily practice that I have to do to choose myself over others. But it is definitely worth it, and not only do you benefit, but everyone around you benefits as well. So I've put together a self-love kit that includes a 10-step guide to self-love, as well as 20 self-love affirmations, and also a guide on how to use those affirmations, as well as a self-love meditation, and also a self-care 30-day challenge calendar. So those are all part of my self-love kit, and I'm giving it to you guys for free because I know how important it is, and sometimes it can be overwhelming to know where to start. So I'm going to leave a link for that self-love kit in the description box below, so definitely check it out if you are interested. Alright, so we are on our fourth lesson, and that is to look inward for love and acceptance. So that is also kind of going along the lines of what I've talked about previously about self-love. Whenever you are looking for happiness or looking to feel loved or feel accepted, I love to break it to you, but you can look within yourself. So in society, at least in the United States, because that's where I grew up, it's been conditioned within us from a young age to think that we don't have it within us to love and accept ourselves. So we have lived a life where we look outward, we want to achieve, and we want to have other people love us and accept us, and therefore we change the things we do and how we say things and just everything like that. But at the end of the day, if you are still in your 20s and you're listening and you're watching this, know that you can love and accept yourself. You can. It doesn't have to come from anyone else. And just the thought and the idea of that is so freeing. I mean, that means that you hold all the power. And to me, that's amazing. So definitely, I really think that we all should look inward for love and acceptance, because when we do, then we aren't looking for it in other people. We aren't looking for a lover who will love and accept us. We aren't looking for friends who will love and accept us, because we already love and accept ourselves. So the fifth and last lesson I want to leave you guys with is that we are the ones that define and create our reality. So whatever is going on inside here is how you will see the outside world, the external world. This is a topic that I have not been introduced to growing up, and so I always felt like a victim. I felt like life was just happening to me. People were just throwing things at me and I was just reacting. And it wasn't until this past year when I started learning more about mindset and limiting beliefs and how there's a conscious and a subconscious mind, and then there's the unconscious mind as well, that we really can create our reality through the thoughts that we think every day, to the beliefs that we subscribe to, and then the habits that we continue to do. So it is really up to us. We have the power to change our thoughts if we decide to do it. A classic example would be if you are stuck in traffic, you can either one, choose to be frustrated, mad, angry, and all of those negative emotions, or two, you can choose to see that time as some quiet time, some reflection time, some time to listen to music, a podcast, whatever it is. But the key here is that you are the one that is deciding how you're going to view what is happening in front of you. That is one of the aspects of being able to create your reality. And then the other aspect that I want to touch on is the limiting beliefs that we've been told growing up. So as a child, from ages 0 to 7, we are a walking subconscious. That means we take in everything as truth. We don't have a filter of, oh, this is good for me, I'll take it in. This is bad for me, I'm gonna leave it out there. We take in everything that we see, hear, experience as our truth, and that creates our belief system. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, I had a lot of limiting beliefs that were installed in me from a young age. A scarcity mindset, a belief that money is hard to come by, a belief that I have to work really hard in order to be successful. So certain things like that now as an adult, I'm turning 31 years old, and I realized that I'm still holding on to some of these beliefs, and they're not serving me in any way, shape, or form. So it's things like that when you are aware and you realize where your beliefs come from, then you can choose to unsubscribe to them and create new empowering beliefs that serve you. So that is what I want to leave you guys with the 5th lesson, is that you are powerful and you can create and define your reality. Alright, that is it for today's video, the top 5 lessons that I would tell anyone in their 20s. And I hope you liked that video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up because it does help with the algorithm. Push it out to other people who might need this kind of content. And do leave a comment down below about which life lesson resonated with you the most. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video. Remember, you are the creator of your life. And so I want you to go out there and create your best life. Bye.